What's going on, y'all? I'd like to welcome y'all back to Beyond the Fear podcast, a place where y'all come for some encouraging words, some uplifting words, and just overall a positive message. And today's message was brought about through a few conversations that I've just been having for the past couple of days with a few of my friends. And that message is it's okay to live life at your own pace. One thing one thing that I'm starting to observe with people is that, man, we try to live beyond our means. You know what I'm saying? And we doing it for social media. We doing it for all the wrong reasons. I don't even feel like it may not even be a right reason to live beyond your means, but it's just certain things that I'm seeing, and when I'm talking to my friends, it's like, what does that even matter? Why does that matter? Why are you living beyond what you can live? What am I trying to say? Why are you trying to live beyond your means? Why are you trying to live in this tax bracket or in this world that you can't afford? You know you can't afford it, but you're still trying to keep up. And then on the other end of it, you have people who, like myself, you know what I'm saying? You have people who are in their mid 30s, like myself, who haven't figured it out yet, haven't figured life, I haven't figured out what they want to do. And some of us are just like, oh, I failed, and oh, let me go do this, or let me try this. And it's like, because I mean, I was also in that world, so I'm not knocking the latter side of what I'm talking about, the side where you at a certain age and you feel like by a certain age I should have life figured out, I should have my career figured out, I should have my life mapped out. And for those people who are at my age and have had their life mapped out for a few years, great. That's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? I can honestly get on this camera and admit that I'm like, when I'm watching TV shows, movies, anime, whatever, like one anime that I'm watching right now, um, the main character from a little kid, from the time he was a little kid, knew what he wanted to do, and nobody could tell him otherwise. So even when he failed, or even when times were hard, when he was struggling, going through it, and every bone in his body was telling him to give up, he had the mental fortitude to be like, no, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to become. I'm going to keep pushing. He wanted to be a soccer player. So he kept pushing to get to the point to where he can be a professional soccer player. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, dang, I wish I had that. I wish I had that type of mentality where I didn't give up on myself. I didn't give up on my goals and my dreams, even just because times got hard or whatever. I wish that I would have had that, or I wish that I would have had somebody supporting me, or somebody pushing me to keep going. Like, even when times are hard and they see I'm about ready to give up, I wish I had somebody to just nudge me and tell me to keep going. If this is what you really want, you got to understand it's not going to come to you easy. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to grind for it. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have struggle days. You're going to have days where you feel like you're not progressing far enough, or you don't feel like you're progressing at all. You got to fight through all of that to get to where you want to be. And I didn't have anybody in my corner pushing me to understand that. So I just continuously gave up on myself. So so I do get envious when I see characters on TV shows, movies, whatever, or just in real life. If I see a little kid who, like, no, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. This is what I want to become. And they keep pushing and going for their goals. I love that. You know what I'm saying? And I wish that I would have had more of that in my mentality back then, like at a very young age. But back to, back to moving that life at your pace. What I mean by that is, you got to understand that there are going to be people around you who have more resources than you. There are going to be people around you who, whether it was skill, luck, faith, whatever, they were just blessed to be in better positions than you from the get go. You know what I'm saying? They had the resources, they had the money, they had the people around them, they had the info needed to get to where they are in life. You know what I'm saying? So you can't keep trying to keep up with other people or trying to outpace people who have more resources than you. You got to live within your lane and live within your life, because too many times I see people judging how good or how bad their life is compared to the next person. And it's like, no, judge your life for your life. Don't judge your life based off of what you see somebody else doing, because you don't know what type of advantages or disadvantages the person next to you might have. So you might feel like, oh, I'm up because I'm living better than this person, not knowing this person had way more disadvantages and they're still at the same level as you. You might look the other direction and be like, man, I'm not doing well enough because this person is doing so well, not knowing this person had every advantage in the world, and yet you're still right there with them because they had all these advantages and your hard work got you to this point. And you look into the other side and you're thinking, wow, I'm doing real good because this person isn't, not knowing this person has so many disadvantages and their hard work has put them right there with you. So I say that to say, we have to stop comparing our lives with other people's lives, or comparing how well we're doing or how bad we're doing to, to how comparing it to, other people's lives. Understand that, if there's something that you want to do, it's not too late to do it. Just because you're in your late 30s, early 40s, and now you finally figured out what you want to do, and now you want to go back to school, but you're feeling a little silly because you're probably going to be the oldest person here. Who cares? The fact that you're going out and the fact that you figured out what you want to do, and now you have the courage and the support to go do it. Go do it. Go figure that out. Go see if this is what you really want to do. Go take those classes and see if that's really what you want to do. And if it is, go do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like it's ever. I don't feel like it's ever a time when it's like, okay, it's too late for me to find my purpose. You can find your purpose in your 60s, your 70s, whatever. I don't feel like it's too late. So I would never stop looking for whatever that is, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of us have that mentality like, okay, I got to get out, I got to get a job, I got to boom, 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 do the family thing, you know what I'm saying? And that's fine too. But like I said, even with that, there's still nothing wrong with, especially if you have a great support system. Like if your spouse is a great support system, there's nothing wrong with having conversations with your spouse and saying, you know what, what I've been doing the past 10 years just isn't my passion. I think that my passion is more whatever. If you've been a dentist your whole life and you feel like, I don't know, throw something out there. You feel like this new lane is more of your passion. And if you have a support system that says, okay, well, that's going to be a rough transition, but let's get everything in order so that way we can make this work. So that way you can go and see if this is your passion or not. That's a beautiful thing. And I hope that everybody gets that at some point in life, a great support system. And I mean, it doesn't have to be spouses. It can be parents. It can be family. It can be just having the right type of friends around you who will help watch your kids while you go to school, whatever it is. I just hope that everybody has a great support system around them. And if you don't, I hope that you get it. But you know what I'm saying? So my thing is just, we got to make sure that we're living life at our pace. Quit trying to compare to your coworkers, to your homeboys or your homegirls, your friends, your family members. You got to understand that we're not, just because we might come from the same place, just because we might have the same blood, whatever the case is, doesn't mean that we all share the same circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Like we both can be born, you know what I'm saying, to the same family. We could be related. Okay, so for example, take my brother and I, right? Grew up in the same house, same parents. Well, we both got the same parents, but we both grew up with our mom. A lot of people, and I could say this to an extent, you know what I'm saying? For a lot of people, I was the quote unquote good kid, and he was the bad kid. So he did get way more whoopings than I did. So even though we grew up in the same house with the same mother, we had two totally different experiences, and his experiences molded him and pushed him to get out because he wanted to get away and get on his own because his experiences weren't my experiences. So that pushed him to get out, to get on his own. He had his own place before I did, you know what I'm saying? And it should have been like a wake up call for me. Like, dang, my little brother moving out the house before me, getting his own place, got married. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Living that independent life before, before I did. That should have been like a thing. But number one, I was proud of him. You know what I'm saying? So it was never any hate or any envy. But also it was just, and I mean, I'm just realizing this now as I'm recording this, that's probably why it pushed him out and why I had such a comfort zone being at home, is because it wasn't comfortable for him. You know what I'm saying? He did feel like he was the bad kid compared to me being the good kid. Everything was a comparison thing for him. He wasn't treated like the quote unquote golden child or whatever. And he felt like I was. And there was times when I was. Just again, just putting the mirror up and being honest. So I can understand now that his motivations to get out were a lot higher than mine. I really didn't have any motivations to get out at that time, but he did. And he got out, he got on his own, and he's, you know what I'm saying? He did his thing and he did what he was supposed to do. And so again, definitely proud of him, definitely happy for him. But that just goes back to what I was saying. Like, we got to live life at our, you know what I'm saying, at your pace. You have to understand where you are. If you're not at a point, if you're not at, hey, I'm taking me a trip tomorrow, if you're not at that stage in life, then you don't pretend like you're in that stage in life. You know what I'm saying? You got to accept where you are in life and be okay with it. Understand that if that's your goal, then make that your goal, and understand that one day it will become your reality. But you got to be honest with yourself, and you have to say, that's not my reality right now. Just getting up whatever day, realizing, or just thinking like, I bet it's beautiful in Greece right now. And getting up and going to Greece, if that's not where you currently are right now, that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to accept that. And I think that too many people, and again, these are just based off conversations that I've been having the last couple of weeks, too many people can put themselves in debt because they're trying to live way above their means because they see all their friends and family or just people around them in their proximity living this way. And then I see people put themselves in depression because they feel like, oh, at a certain age, I should have this, and this by now. Society says I should be out the house on my own, 18, 20, 22. You know what I'm saying? I should have my own place, my own car, this, that, you know what I'm saying? And if people aren't on those timelines, I've seen people fall into depressions about that. And so it's just like, man, we got to realize that, man, it's okay to live life at your pace. And no, I'm not saying get comfortable where you are. What I'm saying is accept where you are, realize where you want to be, make that your goal, and then work to get to where you want to be. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, just get comfortable where you are. If this is where you are, this is where you're always going to be. No, if this is where you are, accept it and then figure out where you want to be and start making plans to get to that point. That's what I'm saying. And I feel like too many of us don't accept where we are. We either pretend that we're somewhere else, or we get into a depression because we're not where we feel like where we need to be. And for me, it's just like we need to take a step back and realize it's okay if we're not there. It's okay if I'm not exactly where I need to be. But what's not okay is if me staying there. What's not okay is me staying in this depressive state because I just feel like a failure and I don't feel like there's nothing I can do to get to where I need to be. So I'm just going to stay stuck here. I let my I let my depression and my what I feel is a failed life keep me in this spot. That's when I feel like you lose. I feel like that's when you fail and you've given up on yourself and you've accepted your fate that this is where you're going to be for the rest of your life. But I feel like as long as you're willing to accept that this is where you are right now and understand that you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay in that state of I'm not where I want to be. Cool. Accept that, acknowledge it, and realize that you have all the tools necessary to get to where you want to be. It won't be easy. It's going to be challenging. You're going to have your days when you're ready to quit, all of that. But understand that you have the tools needed to get to where you want to be. And on the flip side of things, you, the other person that's going into debt, trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to keep up with the people around them, their lifestyle. It's like you got to stop. Quit faking it for people. Like you got to understand that if these people are your friends, and these people are really rock with you, they're gonna rock with you regardless, even if you gotta say, bro, I ain't got it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't got it right now. I can't go on this trip. I gotta go to work. You know what I'm saying? Live your life. You have to be comfortable with you. You know what I'm saying? Because at some point it's gonna get to a point to where you literally can't afford it. You literally can't, you know what I'm saying, build up any more debt and realistically get yourself out of those holes. You know what I'm saying? You gotta start being true to you. You got to start accepting you for you. And again, if you know you're not where you want to be, you want to be at a point to where you can, I feel like going to Jamaica today. I feel like going to Turks today. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And you know that that's your goal, that's where you want to get. Then again, realize where you are, accept that this is where you are right now and work to get to that point. Because again, you can get there. Again, won't be easy. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to put the time in, but you can get to that point. But you got to stop lying to yourself and lying to other people. You got to be genuine with yourself. Like you got to accept that, okay, I'm not where I want to be. Life isn't great for me, right? Well, let me not say that. Just say, hey, life I'm not where I want to be in life right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. That's not you admitting failure. That's just you. To me, again, the way that I think now, I feel like when you can when you can have that conversation with yourself, whether you're the person that's in the depressive funk because you're not where you want to be, or you're the person who's pretending to live this lifestyle that you don't really have. Once you can accept where you are in life, realize where you are in life, accept where you are in life, and understand that this doesn't have to be where you stay in life. You can move ahead. You can move forward. You can push upwards. You can do everything that you want to do as long as you're willing to work for it and make those sacrifices to get to where you want to be. I feel like that's your starting point. You're finally at the starting line. You're finally ready to start your race. You're finally in your lane, ready to do your thing, ready to do what you need to do to get to where you need to be. But the first thing that you got to do is you got to accept that I'm not there, and that's okay. And you got to accept that, hey, I might be here, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I might be starting late than a lot of my other friends. You know what I'm saying? I might not be where they are, but that's okay. I'm running my race. I'm focused on me. I'm focused on getting to where I want to be in life. I'm not finna keep comparing my life to theirs because their life is their life. My life is mine. I have to live my life. I can't go live their life. I can't live their life. They can't live mine for me. I got to live my life for me. And so I think once people start to realize that, now you ready to start living life. You know what I'm saying? Now you ready to get out of that rut. You ready to get out of that fake place. You ready to get out that depressed place, and you ready to, you know what I'm saying, live your life. And I get it. I know what I'm saying sounds so simple, and I know it takes a lot of work to get out of that depressive place, and I know it's going to take a lot of work to get out of that deceptive place where you've been lying to yourself and lying to your friends about, oh, I got it. Oh, I can make it. Whoop de whoop. And it's going to take time to get out of those places, but take the time, make the time to get out of those places. So that way you can start moving forward in life and you can eventually get to that place where you've been lying about being, you can truly, genuinely get to that place with hard work. And you can get to a place where, you know what I'm saying, you can feel like, okay, I made it. I got everything that I feel like I was supposed to have at about a certain age. I have it now. You can get to those places. Everything is achievable through a hard work and, I'm saying, some sacrifice, but it's just, again, those conversations that I've been having is just making me realize that, yeah, we gotta be able to accept where we are in life. And again, when I say accept, I do not mean this is where I am and this is where I'm going to stay. I mean, this is where I am. I have to acknowledge that. I have to accept and acknowledge that this is where I am in life. But it doesn't have to be where I stay. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be where I stay. It doesn't have My story does not have to end here at this point in my life. You know what I'm saying? This is not my ceiling. This is my floor. Where I am in life right now is my floor. My ceiling is still so much higher. I still have so many more levels that I can obtain if I work hard enough. But we gotta start changing our perspective and our mental state. We got to realize that, and mind you, again, because I'm in it, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm talking to you from a place of I've already done the work and I've already achieved my goals. I've already establish myself. I'm talking to you as somebody who's still in the process of doing it. So I do understand how hard it is to get out of that mentality. You know what I'm saying? I had to have some things kind of shake me up, shake my mentality up. And these things unfortunate at the time, I thought, but now that I'm through a lot of it, very fortunately for me, mine's happened back to back to back. So my world was just getting shaken left and right. You know what I'm saying? And it finally made me just kind of open my eyes, take accountability for why I was in those situations and why my world was rocking left and right, like why these situations happen back to back. Take accountability, acknowledge that I was, responsible for a lot of it. And now it's like, okay, now I'm moving so much differently. I've even had a few experiences at work that the old DJ would have handled a certain way and probably would have messed up a lot of friendships because of the way I chose to handle it. Whereas now I'm taking time to really think, really listen to people and hear them out, whether I agree with them or not, it doesn't even matter. I'm just trying to genuinely listen, not listen from a defensive standpoint, but just genuinely listen, not listen to, like I said, defend myself, not listen to correct them, nothing. I'm just genuinely listening. And you know what I'm saying? And so even though it's frustrating that I'm having to go through certain situations at work, it has been it has put a smile on my face that now that a good bit of it is over, I can sit back and I can really think like, wow, I did handle that differently. I remember a time when I would have handled it a different way and it would have probably gone bad for me. It probably would have been worse for me. But but I can see the work is working and I'm handling things in real time, in real life differently, because it's cool to talk about things. It's cool to get on camera and say, hey, don't do this. Hey, act this way. Hey, this and that. It's easy to do that. But when you got to put it into action, when you have to apply it into your real life in real time, that's something totally different. And so the fact that I've been able to apply it to my life in real time, in real life, while at work, in real situations with other people and their emotions. And I'm seeing myself improve. I'm seeing myself getting better. There are still things that I can do a lot better, but hey, it's a start. And for me, that's all that matters, is that I'm putting in the work, I'm putting in the effort, and I'm starting to see the benefits of it. I'm starting to see the fruits that my labor is bearing. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm starting to see some of those fruits. I'm starting to see more patience. I'm starting to see a lot more understanding. I'm starting to see a lot more me listening, me communicating in a healthy and better way than what I used to. And you know what I'm saying? I'm starting to notice these things. So for me, I'm very thankful. So I got off track a little bit. So when I'm saying all of these things about realizing where you are in life and realizing I'm doing the same thing, I'm going on my journey too. So again, I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. I'm talking to someone who had that realization a few months ago, like, okay, I'm not where I want. I'm here right now. Wherever my here is, this is where I am. I have to acknowledge that, but I also understand I don't have to stay here. I have to put the work in, make those sacrifices, go through those hard days, go through those challenges, go through those obstacles and everything, and anything else that does come up. I have to go through all of that to get to where I want to be, but that's okay because it's worth it. The life that I want to live is worth it. The life that I would love for my mother to have is worth it. It's worth the work that I'm going to need to put in to get to where I want to be. But I'm at least realizing I'm accepting where I am. I'm realizing, I'm acknowledging it, and now I'm working to get to a better place. I'm in the middle of doing my work. You know, again, I didn't really look at it from that standpoint until I started having these conversations with a lot of my friends and realizing that, okay, a lot of them haven't had that epiphany or haven't had that big, moment of, okay, I'm not where I need to be. Let me get out this state. Let me get out of this state and let me just start working to get to where I want to be. And I've also realized that, like I said in I think the last episode, I can't remember what episode it was, like you can't change people. So even though I've made this discovery about myself and now I'm putting in the work, all I can do is say it to other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, why don't you just why don't you just do this? Why don't you do that? You know what I'm saying? And again, their mindset or the way that a lot of people look at it be like, oh yeah, it's easy to say that from the outside. Not, you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, I'm going through it too. I'm putting in the work too. I'm not where I need to be. So you don't see any results from the work that I've put in, but I know I'm starting to see it. And my thing is we have to get out of these places. We have to get out of these places where we live for other people and we live to impress other people, or we live to get other people's approval, and we got to start living for ourselves. And I understand that, a lot of us are taught brands and we're taught, hey, this means money, and hey, this means you got it, and you're the cool kid if you wear these, and you're the cool kid if you have this, and you live in this area. And so I get it, a lot of that is ingrained in us from childhood, so it's not easy for us to break those mental chains. It's not easy for us to break those concepts of good and bad and things, like not good and bad, but what's a good life and what's a bad life. It's hard for us to break those chains and those ways of thinking because it's been ingrained in us since we were kids. But we have got to start doing that. We've got to understand that just because you don't have everything that your friend has or that your neighbor has doesn't mean that you're living a bad life. You probably living a pretty good life, but because you're so focused on comparing it to other people, you don't see how good your life is because you're not looking at your life for what it is. You're looking at your life for what it could be because you picturing yourself in that person's shoes. You're picturing yourself in that person's car. You're picturing yourself in that person's house instead of just appreciating the fact that you have a car, you have a house or an apartment or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Your kids are healthy. You're healthy. We got to start putting things into perspective because we put way too much value on material things. And it's like, oh, I don't have a good life if I don't own my house, you know what I'm saying? Or, oh, I'm not, I don't have a good life because I'm living in an apartment instead of a house. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are we, you know what I'm saying? But we have to start breaking down the way we measure a good life, the way we measure, you know, happiness and joy and peace. Because one thing that I'm learning is all the happiness and joy and peace, a lot of that, all of that, most of it, I don't know what percentage starts with you. It is you. You know what I'm saying? I can't rely on nobody else to be my peace. I can't rely on nobody else to be my happiness. I have to be happy with me. I have to be happy with my life. I have to be at peace with myself, and I have to be at peace with my life, because once I start putting my happiness and my joy and my peace in other people's hands, what happens when they leave? What happens when I put my peace and my joy into this piece of jewelry or this car or this house, and then it's gone, or this money, and for whatever reason it's gone. Now what? What am I left with? Because I put all of my joy, all of my happiness, all of my peace into other things and into other people. And then they all start to leave, and piece by piece, chipping away at my happiness and all of this stuff. And then I'm left with nothing. Like, no, we got to start realizing that our good life, our happiness, our peace starts with us. We have to be happy with ourselves. We have to be at peace with ourselves. And then watch how your perspective on things change, because you're not looking for a man or a woman to make you happy. You're not looking for a man or a woman to bring you peace. You're not looking for a job to bring you happiness and peace. You're not looking for these material things to bring you happiness and bring you peace. Your peace and your happiness go with you everywhere when it's with you, because you are your joy. You are your happiness. You are your peace. So no matter where you go in life, no matter who comes, who leaves, no matter what comes, what leaves, no matter when you're going through your peaks or through your valleys, as long as you are your happiness and you are your peace, you will always be happy in that peace. Things could be glorious around you. Things could be disastrous around you. But as long as you are happy and at peace with yourself, it won't matter. Your happiness and your peace isn't going to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's going to get you through your tough times, because you understand the money isn't here right now. The material things aren't here right now. Those fake friends who only want to be around when it's convenient for them, or when you can give them something, they're not going to be around. You know what I'm saying? So it's only going to be you and like your real core people who are there, like your ride or dies. When you're going through those times and it's just y'all, you got to have your own peace. You got to have your own happiness, you know what I'm saying, to get through those tough times, because tough times are going to come regardless. You know, and when I say tough times, it don't just mean not having money. It might be losing your parent, losing that spouse, God forbid, losing, you know what I'm saying, a kid or something. Those are tough times. People think that tough times just mean financially. No, you might go through some mental tough times, some emotional tough times, some spiritual tough times. Those tough times will come, but as long as you got peace and you got happiness within you, you're going to get through it. There is light at the end of that tunnel. Now that tunnel might be long, but there's still light at the end of it, and you can make it through. But you got to understand that starts with you. And I know I just went off on a little tangent, but I don't know. That's just that. I don't know. That's just a message that I needed to put out there. But to wrap everything up, man, just start living your life at your pace, whatever your pace is. Get to just acknowledge where you are in life and understand you don't have to stay there. That's now your new starting point. Where you are in life right now is your new starting point, and your finish line is wherever you want it to be. Go get it. Go get what you want, whether it's the lifestyle you feel like you should have at a certain age, or the lifestyle that you want to have where you can go take those trips anytime that you want. Whatever it is, you can go achieve it, but you have to acknowledge and accept where you are right now, and understand that. Quit lying about who you are. Quit being depressed about who you are, because your life is your life. You don't know what type of advantages the person to your left or to your right had. You don't know what type of disadvantages that person may have had. But they are where they are because they focused on them and got to where they needed to be. Whether they used those advantages or had to work through disadvantages, either way, they got to where they needed to be because they focused on them. It's time for you to focus on you and get to where you need to be. So I want to thank everybody for listening on whatever platforms you may be listening on. And to anybody watching on YouTube, y'all already know, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And again, thank y'all for all the support that y'all have given me. And I hope that y'all have a blessed day.